Hey guys, today we're looking at the Royal Knights in the Digimon card game. So here I got a fat stack of cards. So there's 13 Royal Knights, 14 if you include the founder, and they all have an assortment of alternate arts in the card game as well. So we're going to be checking out each of their cards and kind of giving a little overview and see how good the Royal Knights are in the Digimon card game. So let's get started. So we're starting off with Omnimon. Omnimon has a variety, an assortment of cards with the Royal Knight trait. So first off, we have Omnimon from BT1. So he costs 15 to play, 6 to digivolve onto a red or a blue level 6. He has 15 KDP. He says, when digivolving, choose one of your opponent's Digimon, delete all of your opponent's Digimon that share the same name with it, and when attacking, you can unsuspend this Digimon by returning one of this Digimon's level 6 Digivolution cards to your hand. So overall, BT1 Omnimon, pretty solid card. It was really good for its time. Nowadays, it just does not see much play. Its alternate art looks fantastic. I don't have the Ghost Omnimon. However, if I did, I would tell you it's the best card in the game. This is still my favorite card in the game, though, I think. It's just a very beautiful alternate art. Next, we have BT5 Omnimon. So he costs 15 to play. 4 Digivolve onto a red or a blue level 6 Digimon. 14 KDP. He says, when digivolving, blitz. When digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon, and then all turns. If an opponent's effect would delete this Digimon or return to the owner's hand or deck, you may prevent it from leaving play by trashing a level 6 card from his Digimon's Digivolution cards. So, Blitz Omnimon, one of the best cards in the game. This card seals out wins for you. You digivolve into your level 6, you attack, do your things with it, and then you blitz into Omnimon and swing for game. He's got some really cool arts too. I'm missing one of them, so I don't have all of his alternate arts. Yeah, I think Blitz Omnimon is just a really good card. Next, we have Omnimon X Antibody from BT5 as well. So he costs 15 to play. He costs 6 to digivolve onto a red or a blue level 6 Digimon. He has 15 KDP. He says, your Digimon with Omnimon in its name can digivolve onto this Digimon card in your hand for a memory cost of 3, ignoring this card's Digivolution requirements. He says, when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. It's really, really good. And it says opponent's turn. When your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may trash 2 of his Digimon's Digivolution cards to end the attack. Which again, solid. You can just stop your opponent from attacking. I think this is still a really great card. And I still think it's pretty relevant to today's meta. Next, we have Omnimon X Antibody from BT10. So he costs 16 to play, 7 to digivolve onto a red or a blue level 6 Digimon. 16 KDP. He has a black bar Digivolution that says Digivolve 3 from Omnimon. Then he has another effect here that has been errated. The errata effect says, when a Digimon with X Antibody in its Digivolution cards would Digivolve into this Digimon, reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. Then he says, when Digivolving, return all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. Then he says, when Digivolving, when attacking, once per turn. By placing one X Antibody or a level 6 card from this Digimon's Digivolution cards at the bottom of its owner's deck, reveal all of your opponent's security cards and trash one of them. Place the rest in your opponent's security stack face down. Then your opponent shuffles their security stack. This card is just really great. You could Digivolve into him, trash the security card, and then just swing for game. What really makes this card wild though, if you have X Antibody in your stack, say you go into Blitz Omnimon and swing, you can use X Antibody's effect to Digivolve into him, triggering his effect to trash one of your opponent's security cards, especially if they have one, then he's already swinging into for game. This card is just really wild. I think it's one of the best Omnimons in the game, and just one of the coolest cards in the game. He looks freaking awesome. So that's Omnimon. I think Omnimon has gotten some really, really great support throughout the years, and there's no sign of it slowing down. So next we have Ulforce Vigramon, and currently we only have 2 in the card game, but we are getting a new one soon. So here's Ulforce Vigramon from BT2. He costs 13 to play, 3 to digivolve. He has 11 KDP. He says, your turn. When one of your blue tamers becomes suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. And that's not once per turn, so you can be doing that as many times as you can. Then he goes on to say, your turn, once per turn. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain a memory. So that's really powerful. As you can see, Ulforce Vigramon likes to unsuspend himself. It's just one of the main tricks that Blue likes to play around with. Here's his alternate art, which I think looks awesome. So yeah, I think Ulforce Vigramon's a really, really powerful card, and even to this day, it's still great. You can still make a decent deck around him, even if it's just for casual play. You can destroy your friends with this card still. And then we have Ulforce Vigramon from the starter deck. So he costs 12 to play, 4 to digivolve. He has 12 KDP. He says, when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon card to its owner's hand. Trash all the Digivolution cards. Then he says, when attacking once per turn, if you have 8 or more cards in your hand, unsuspend this Digimon. So again, he just likes to unsuspend himself and attack multiple times per turn. One thing to mention about Ulforce Veedramon is that there is a Vmon from the starter deck that can warp Digivolve into these guys. So you could be potentially Digivolving these guys onto your level 3. So yeah, overall, I think Ulforce Veedramon has been a solid card. It has a theme, it has a gimmick, it likes to unsuspend itself and attack multiple times per turn. I think it still has a place in the meta, and I definitely think that you can make a really fun and somewhat competitive deck out of Ulforce Veedramon. It won't be the best deck, but you'll still be able to get wins out of it. So that's Ulforce Veedramon. So next we have Leopardmon, and we currently only have one Leopardmon in the card game. And here's his alternate art, which looks pretty solid. So Leopardmon costs 12 to play, 4 to Digivolve, has 11k ADP. He says, when Digivolving, you may play one level 4 lower Digivolution card of one of your Digimon cards as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. He says, all turns, all of your level 4 lower Digimon gains... all of your level 4 lower Digimon gain jamming. So, I mean, Leopardmon's not a bad card. It's just not an amazing card. I mean, Leopardmon has some really fancy, neat tricks. I've just never been able to fully utilize this card. It just never really seemed to have a place in the meta. When it first came out in English with 1.5, I believe, it just did not see any play. It was already outpaced by other cards. And even in BT3, Imperial Digimon came out and it was already outpaced by other blue cards in the set that it came out. So unfortunately, Leopardmon just did not see much play. He will finally be seeing a new card with BT13. So we'll see where he goes from there. But until then, Leopardmon just is a pretty lackluster Royal Knight. Speaking of lackluster Royal Knights, next we have Kentorosmon. So Kentorosmon costs 12 to play, 3 to Digivolve. He's got 11k DP. He says, when Digivolving, up to 5 of your opponent's Digimon gain security attack -2 until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then on deletion, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -11k DP for the turn. So it all sounds great, doesn't it? But that's it. That's all he does. After it Digivolves, and when your opponent's turn ends, he's just a vanilla with an on-deletion effect. You want him to die. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think this card really has much value to it. When he dies, he basically does take another Digimon with him, which can be nice, but he is 11k DP, so even if a Digimon attacks into him and kills him, he's not taking that Digimon down with him. So I think this card's pretty lackluster and just kind of sucks. Here's his alternate art, which looks awesome. I love this card. It's just so poppin'. The yellow, it just looks awesome. Yeah, Kentorosmon kind of sucks. Again, in BT13, the Royal Knight set, he will get a new card, and hopefully, he'll actually be good. Next, we have Craniamon. I don't have his alternate art, unfortunately. Craniamon only has one card in the Digimon card game so far, just like the other two. However, unlike the other two, Craniamon's actually a pretty good card. So he costs 13 to play, 4 to Digivolve, he has 12k DP, he has Blocker, and he says all turns, your Digimon with Blocker can't be deleted by your opponent's effects. So it just protects your blockers from being deleted, which is a really solid effect. Most of the time, your opponent's answers to your blockers, other than swinging into them, is to just straight up delete them. There are only a few amount of colors that actually can like bounce or maybe deal with blockers in some other way. So overall, Craniamon's a pretty solid card. It's really great at protecting your Digimon, and with some other card effects and some silly little combos, you can make a pretty powerful board state with this guy. So next we have the infamous Lord Knightmon. So Lord Knight, so it costs 13 to play, 3 to Digivolve, 11k DP. So it says, when attacking, you may play a yellow level 3 Digimon card or a yellow Digimon card with Warrior in its type from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then it also says, all turns, for each other Digimon you have in play, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. So this card and this deck was the closest thing Digimon had to a tier 0 deck so far. It's S tier. This thing's broken, this thing's busted. This is the best Royal Knight in the game so far. This thing isn't once per turn. If you can unsuspend it, you can be playing multiple. And there are cards like Knightmon, that's a level 5, that lets you play level 5 for free, and then you can Digivolve into another Lord Knightmon. This deck was outrageous. Sure, it's not as incredible as it used to be, but I still think if people actually put some effort into it, Lord Knightmon can still be an incredibly powerful deck. And honestly, with the more support it can get, it can make a comeback. It could come back even better and stronger. You should have this card in your collection just for the sake of having one of the best cards Digimon has ever seen. And maybe it was just because of the meta it was in, but this was an insane deck. And I don't have any alt arts. Next, we have a big boy, Jessmon. And there's a variety of Jessamon cards in the card game. So we're starting off with BT6 Jessamon. So he costs 11 to play, 3 to Digivolve, 11 KDP. He says when attacking, you may play one Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. And he goes on to say, your turn once per turn. When you would play another Digimon, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP and piercing for the turn. So, I mean, Jessamon was pretty solid. It was really, really powerful for the time. In fact, it was so good that one of its cards had to get limited. Not once per turn, so you can constantly be playing those Sistermons for free. The second effect, though, once per turn, I mean, that's fine. But getting that 3k buff and then piercing, this guy can just swing into one of your opponent's Digimon. You play a Sistermon for free. You get all that buffing. You get that piercing. This was a really, really good card for its time. The only reason it's not seeing play now is because the other Jessamons are just better. So we have Jessamon from the starter deck. Costs 12 to play, 4 to Digivolve. He has 12 KDP. He says, when Digivolving, Blitz. And then when attacking, you may play a Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. And then all turns once per turn. Whenever you play another Digimon by an effect, the Digimon gets plus 3000 DP and gains security attack plus 1. So you're trading up piercing for security attack plus 1, which is fine. But what really makes this card stand out is that Blitz. You Digivolve into him, you Blitz. Then when you attack, you play that Sistermon for free. Then you activate his other effect, which gives you plus 3k and security plus 1. And with some Sistermons, you're actually able to Digivolve him even further. Like say into Jessamon X Antibody. So it costs 12 to play, 3 to Digivolve, 11 KDP. It's a Black Bar Evolution that costs 0 to Digivolve onto Jessamon, which is just insane. He has piercing, and then when Digivolving, you may play one Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. Then, if Jessamon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, or you have Digimon with Sistermon in its name in play until the end of your opponent's next turn, all of your Digimon may also attack unsuspended Digimon and get plus 2000 DP. So just really solid, continuing that attack combo. Again, he plays another Sistermon, so you could play that Sistermon and Digivolve him even further. You're getting that plus 2k DP. You can attack unsuspended Digimon, and you're getting piercing. This is a really, really solid card. And then, when you're ready to finish off, you go into Jessamon GX. So he costs 15 to play, 5 to Digivolve onto a 5 or a black level 6 Digimon. He has 15k DP, he's red and black, and he has a Black Bar Evolution that says Digivolve 5 from level 6 with Royal Knight in its traits. So honestly, this guy could Digivolve onto all of your Royal Knights. You could just splash this guy into a Royal Knight deck if you so choose to. He says, when Digivolving, you may place one card with Royal Knights in its traits and a play cost of 13 or less from your hand or trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Activate one of that card's when Digivolving effects as an effect of this Digimon, then Blitz. Then he goes on to say, all turns, while a card with Royal Knights in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon gains piercing and blocker and security attack plus 1 for each such card. So as you can see, it's just a really powerful card. It has some versatility. It can Digivolve onto just about any Royal Knight in the game so far. With the way Jessamon plays and the Sistermons it has, you can Digivolve essentially 2 times just from attacking. And yeah, this guy quickly gets those security buffs so fast. So Jessamon GX, very powerful card. Next we have Dynasmon. And we only got one Dynasmon so far, and I don't have his alternate art. So Dynasmon costs 12 to play, 4 to Digivolve. He has 12k DP. He says, when Digivolving, you may trash the top card of your security stack to reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. Add up to 2 level 6 or lower Digimon cards from among them to your hand. Trash the remaining cards. And goes on to say, all turns once per turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger recover 1. So, you can combo with himself. You can trash the top card of your security stack to look at the top 6 cards of your deck and add cards to your hand. And you trash those. And then if you have 3 or fewer cards, you can recover. And this is all turns. Being able to just recover because you get down to 3 or lower security it's really good. You just get free recovery. And if you have multiple Dynasmons on the field, you can recover multiple times. Dynasmon is like having Holy Wave built into your security. It's just a really good card. I feel like it does take a little effort to really get to know this card and its deck, because you can deck out really fast and really easy. So Dynasmon is just one of those unique and interesting Royal Knight cards. There's not much that does what he does, and I think it's really cool. I think it's really interesting, and I look forward to seeing what the future of Dynasmon has to offer. So next we got Gankumon. Gankumon's got 2 cards in the... So next we got Gankumon. Gankumon's got a couple cards in the card game so far. So first we have Gankumon from BT6. So he costs 12 to play, 4 Digivolve. He has 12 KDP. And he says, when Digivolving, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. And then your turn, while your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon, the Digimon gains security attack plus 1. So not too bad of a card. Deleting all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest The lowest play cost can be really helpful. You can get rid of all those pesky rookies or just anything they might be trying to set up with. And just gain that security +1 just because your opponent has unsuspended Digimon. You know, it can be really useful. It can be pretty helpful. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's a very good card. He's not going to be like your main attacker. If it was gaining 1 for each of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, then I feel like this card would have actually seen play. I feel like it would have been actually kind of decent. Because overall, I just don't think this card's very good. And now there are better Gankumons out there. So yeah. I don't have much else to say about Gankumon. So here's the starter deck, Gankumon. So he costs 12 to play. 3 Digivolve onto a black or a red level 5. He has 11k DP. He says when Digivolving, you may play 1 Huckmon or 1 Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your trash without paying its memory cost. And then your turn, once per turn, when you would play another Digimon by effect, Digivolve 1 on up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon. So again, I feel like this card's just a little lackluster. You do get to play the Sistermon with him, and you can play a Huckmon, which can be useful. However, it is just Huckmon with him. When you Digivolve into him, you can activate this effect if you get to play one of those Digimon, and it can be nice to Digivolve 1 on 2 of your opponent's Digimon. Other than that, I don't really see a place for this card. Jesmon doesn't need it in the deck. The only Gankumon Jesmon really needs is the X Antibody. The other two just kind of fall behind. I feel like they just don't complement the deck as much. And I also feel like they're not strong enough to stand on their own and make a deck out of themselves. So yeah. Next we have Gankumon X Antibody, and I think this is the best Gankumon. So he costs 13 to play, 4 to Digivolve onto a black or a red level 5. He has 12k DP. He has a black bar evolution that says Digivolve 1 from Gankumon. He's got blocker. And then he says when Digivolving, you may play 1 Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. Then, if Gankumon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, or if you have a Digimon with Sistermon in its name in play, until the end of your opponent's turn, all of your Digimon get plus 2000 DP, and your opponent's effects can't return them to your hand or reduce their DP. So this card essentially creates a board state where your guys are invincible. They can't be removed from play, and they can't have their DP reduced. Not being able to be returned to hand by effects or the deck is really solid. He also buffs your Digimon. This is a really great card for Jesmon. Generally, you're probably going to be running one of these guys in your deck, but I could see you running 2 if you really wanted to. Overall, I think Gankumon X Antibody is a really great card. Better than the other Gankumons. And unfortunately, you're only going to be running like maybe 1 or 2 in your deck, so you don't see this card too often to begin with. So next we have Alphamon. And Alphamon also just has a handful of cards in the Digimon card game so far. So we're starting with the BT6 Alphamon. So it costs 13 to play, 3 to Digivolve. He has 11k DP. He has a cool security effect that says at the end of the battle, add this card to your hand. Then if a Digimon with Royal Knights in it or X Antibody in its type is in play, up to 12 of your opponent's Digimon can't attack players for the turn. Just a ridiculous number. I mean, 12 for the 12 Royal Knights, right? It's silly. It's a really cool effect. Then he says, when attacking, you may pay up to 5 memory. If you do, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP for the turn for each memory paid. Then he says, end of attack, gain 2 memory. So essentially, you could just pay the 2 memory to buff him by 2k DP, and then get that memory back at the end of the attack. So Alphamon is a great card. And for a while, it actually was one of the best decks in the game until they decided to nerf it and limit one of its key cards. So while Alphamon is still a great card, it just doesn't have the same potential that it used to have. I think the card looks really awesome. So the next Alphamon is from BT9. So he costs 12 to play, 3 to Digivolve, is 11k DP. And he says when Digivolving, place 1 card with X Antibody in its traits from your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Then, your turn once per turn. When an effect places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, Digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon. So, another solid Alphamon. One of Alphamon's main gimmicks is building huge stacks, placing cards under itself. And then also, anytime you might add that, I mean, it is once per turn, but anytime you might add a source under this Digimon, you get to Digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon. It's a solid card. It's not the best Alphamon in the card game, but it's still a good Alphamon. So next, we have Alphamon Aryuken. So he costs 15 to play, 7 to Digivolve, 16k DP. He has a black bar Digivolution that says Digivolve 3 from Alphamon with Aryuken Digivolution card. So he says when Digivolving, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost, and then end of your turn, once per turn, you may return up to 7 non-DGA cards with X Antibody in their traits from among the Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, gain 1 memory for each card returned. And with that effect, you can basically just return it back to your turn. So it's just a really powerful card. You're deleting Digimon. You're gaining memory. The main reason you're building that big stack, not only to get those like effects off and those buffs from the inheritances, but also so you can just use this effect and essentially gain 7 memory at the end of your turn, and just continuing your turn from there. I mean, this card literally just wins you games. It really does give you a huge advantage. I don't play Alphamon too much, so there's not a whole lot more I can say on this card, other than I know that it's very good and that its deck was limited because it's very good. So next we have Magnamon. He's got just 2 cards in the card game so far. So Magnamon is a yellow and a blue card. So it costs 7 to play. 4 to digivolve onto a yellow or a blue level 3. Has 7 KDP. And a black bar evolution that says digivolve 3 onto Vmon. He's got Blocker and Armor Purge, and then it says when digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon, and he gets plus 2000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn for each card with Armor Form in its traits in your trash. So this is a really powerful card. It's a really good blocker. It's a really good Armor Purge card. There is Armor Rush in the game, and this is one of the main key cards in the deck. And with all the combos and plays you can do with Armor Purge and with Armor Rush, you're going to be attacking multiple times in your turn, and this card only contributes to helping with that. Yeah, just a really solid card. It also works really well in other blue decks and even in yellow decks too. And next we have Magnamon X Antibody. So it costs 12 to play. 3 to digivolve onto a yellow or a blue level 5. Has 11 KDP. Has a black bar evolution that says digivolve 4 from Magnamon. It says opponent's turn. When an opponent's Digimon attacks, if a card with armor forms or X antibodies in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may switch the target of attack to this Digimon. And then all turns. When this Digimon would be deleted, you may place the top card of this Digimon on top of your security stack face down to prevent that deletion. Again, this card's really solid. It has pseudo blocker and pseudo recovery. Basically armor purge, but instead of deleting it, you place this card on top of your security stack. Just another great Magnamon. Magnamon has a really good track record of just having good cards. I mean, it only has 2 so far, but both of them are just really, really solid cards. Now we got Gallantmon. Gallantmon has a pretty decent amount of cards in the card game. So we're starting with BT2 Gallantmon. So he costs 12 to play. 4 to digivolve. He has 11 KDP, and he says when digivolving, if you have a red tamer in play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less, and then when attacking, trash one of your opponent's security cards for every 10 cards in their trash. It's just a really solid Gallantmon card. Just over time, your opponent will end up with 10 cards in their trash, and especially like with Gallantmon's effects and all that, being able to just delete Digimon fills their trash. So his effect already helps him fulfill this effect. As the first iteration of Gallantmon, it's still seeing play to this day, which is pretty awesome. Its artwork here is really, really solid. It's all the Royal Knights. How cool is that? It's a family portrait. So next we have the starter deck Gallantmon. So it costs 11 to play. 3 to digivolve. He has 11 KDP. He has security attack +1. And then when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP for the turn. So to give you some context, there is a Takato tamer. When you digivolve into a Digimon with Groundmon in its name or Gallantmon, they gain Blitz. So you can digivolve into this guy to have Blitz with security attack +1 and then potentially plus 3k, so making him 14k. It's a really, really solid Gallantmon, and I do see a lot of decks running this card. My Gallantmon deck actually runs this card. I'm not running this one because I just don't feel the need to. I love the aggression. I love the power. I can digivolve into him with the Takato Tamer. I can blitz with him and basically do 2 checks in one go. And with your sources too, you can potentially do even more damage. So overall, Gallantmon's a pretty solid card. So next we have Gallantmon from EX2. So it costs 12 to play, 4 to digivolve. His 12k DP. He says your turn. This Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. And then your turn, while you have a red tamer in play, add 2000 to the maximum DP you can choose with DP-based deletion effects. And then when attacking, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total DP adds up to 6000 DP or less and delete them, which with this effect basically is essentially 8k DP. So this card's actually really good too. As you can see, Gallantmon just has some really good cards in the game. He buffs himself, he buffs all your deletion effects, and he deletes Digimon. And you can delete multiple Digimon with him. And with Takato in play, he also will get Blitz. You know, in the right deck, with the right support, this is a really powerful, menacing card. Here's his alternate art. It looks really cool. But yeah, a solid Gallantmon card. There's really not much else I can say about it. Lastly, we have Gallantmon X Antibody from BT9. So he costs 12 to play. 4 Digivolve, he has 12 KDP. He has a black bar evolution that says Digivolve 1 from Gallantmon, which is pretty nice. It says when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect, unsuspend this Digimon. Can be really helpful. Then your turn once per turn. When an opponent's Digimon is deleted, if Gallantmon or X antibodies in his Digimon's Digivolution cards, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack, which is just really powerful as well. This card combos with any of your other Gallantmons. Essentially, you want to swing with these Gallantmons, then Digivolve into him, and uses ability to unsuspend himself. Or you can just Digivolve into him and use the effect to delete one of your opponent's Digimon and then just trash the top card of their security stack. Another thing you could do definitely is just swing with the Gallantmon with X antibody under them, then Digivolve into this guy. Then you can use the effect either to unsuspend himself or you can use the effect to trash. You know, there's a lot you can do with this card. Gallantmon X Antibody is a really powerful card. So that's the Gallantmons. I forgot the Examons. And next we have Examon. Examon only has one card in the card game currently. Came out in the most recent set, EX3. So Examon costs 15 to play, 5 to Digivolve onto a green or a blue level 6 Digimon. 15 KDP. It has a DNA Digivolution of 0 from a green level 6 and a blue level 6. And it says, when Digivolving, you may place one green or blue Digimon card with Dramon in its name from your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. And then when DNA Digivolving, you may play one green or blue Digimon card with Dramon in its name and with 12 KDP or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then, all turns once per turn, when this Digimon becomes suspended, unsuspend it and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So Examon, I think, is a really powerful Royal Knight in the card game. I actually think it's one of the best Royal Knights in the game. Its deck is really solid, and maybe I'm just excited because it's a new deck and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But I really think Examon might be one of the best up and coming decks currently in the meta. Don't sleep on Examon. His artwork is really cool too. He's just a big, huge dragon, and I love that. Yeah, I think Examon's really cool, and I think you should believe the hype. You can't do a Royal Knights video without talking about the founder, Imperial Dramon Paladin mode. And so far, he's only got one card in the card game. He's also got a cool alternate art. So he's a white card, and he costs 15 to play, 7 to Digivolve onto a blue or a green level 6. He has 16 KDP. He says, when one of your Digimon would Digivolve into this card in your hand, you may return one white level 7 Digimon card from your trash to the bottom of your deck to reduce the Digivolution cost by 4. You know, you can make it cost 3 now, which I think is just too steep of a cost to do that. However, he has a really great when Digivolving and when attacking effect that says, you may return one 2-color card from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's deck to trash all of your opponent's Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon, then return all of your opponent's Digimon from Digivolution cards to the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. It's not a bad card. However, for Paladin mode, for a secret rare, for a card and a Digimon of this caliber, I don't think this card's good. Paladin mode should have had something far better than just costing 3 to Digivolve and then trashing all the sources under one of your opponent's Digimon, and then sure, you're returning all of their Digimon with those sources. But by the time you get something like this out in the field, don't you kind of feel like you want to win the game instead of just potentially bouncing 1, 2, maybe 3 Digimon? I feel like there are better cards that just does what this guy does, but a little better. And there are definitely option cards that just does what he does much better. So unfortunately, as the founder of the Royal Knights, he sucks. So those are the Royal Knights. What do you guys think of them? I think they've done a pretty solid job of implementing them into the card game so far. They're each, they each have their own little unique gimmicks and things like that. And, they differentiate them enough to make them stand out as their own. In the future, with BT13, we will be getting the Royal Knight set, which I think is awesome. I can't wait to see what that gives us and what kind of support the Royal Knights are going to get. So let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the Royal Knights. Who's your favorite Royal Knight? What's your favorite Royal Knight Digimon card so far? And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for making it all the way to the end, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!